Hello, you wonderful waste warriors. I hope you're having a good week and welcome to the 6th instalment of What Have We Been Talking About on the Facebook group today. If you're not already a member, please come and join us at facebook.com, cut groups, cut zero waste week heroes. 3,500 of us from all around the world talking rubbish. It's the place where we share our hints and our ideas, we share tips, we ask questions, we have the old rant, and we share some great photos, one of which I'm going to tell you about today. So here's a little highlight of what we've been talking about this week. So Jo asked for recommendations of zero waste documentaries that she could watch. I think she wanted to just get a bit more information for herself, and I'm sure she said something about wanting to share some films with her boyfriend. I can't remember, sorry Jo. Anyway, initially only I responded and I of course suggested Trashed. Do you know why I suggested Trashed? Because I'm in it. Oh yes, I am. I am the lady from Ross-on-Wye, even though I don't live in Ross-on-Wye. But there I am in all my glory, talking to none other than Jeremy Irons, taking him shopping for a naked cucumber. You don't want to miss that, I can tell you. A whole 2 minutes 40, I think it could be, of me talking rubbish, and then the rest of the film's not bad either. It's about an hour and 3/4 documentary. It's about waste and sustainability, the problems of waste around the world, how it's affecting us, and a little bit to do with, you know, what we can do about it. Of course, one thing you can do about it is sign up to Zero Waste Week, which takes place in September. That you can find that at zerowasteweek.com. So other people did come along and give their recommendations, and I forgot to write them down. I'm sorry, so I can't share them with you. But go along and find the thread on that if you're wanting to perhaps hold a screening of something. Oh, the Clean Bin Project, that's another good one that I recommended. That's Jen and her husband Grant from Canada that had a little challenge of not throwing stuff away. That's a really good documentary. Yeah, if you want to do a community screening, or you work with children, you want to inspire them, there's just a load of stuff that people have recommended, really worth having a look at, and probably keeping an eye on that thread too. So talking of interesting photos that we share, I love this one. This was from Tom. I hope you're sitting down, ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you that he'd been to a restaurant this week and he had photographed individually wrapped sugar cubes. You know, sugar cubes, like square. Look at me, I've got beetroot on my hands. Yeah, that big squares of sugar. So in my day of going out, we all used to put our dirty wet teaspoons into the sugar pot, and we were okay. Nothing happened to any of us. So I don't know where Tom lives. I don't know what restaurant it was. He didn't name and shame. He was very gentlemanly about it. But I'd love to see your pictures of crazily wrapped things. What's going on in your neck of the woods? Please tell us. Thanks for that, Tom. That was really cool. One of the questions I asked just for your short, quick, punchy. You find, imagine the scene, you find, I don't know, half a tin of sweet corn left in the fridge, or you've cooked a little bit too much rice, a little bit too much pasta. I said, you know, one of those really quick fire favourite use it up recipes, thinking I'd get 3 or 4. Well, I think I've got about 20. So we had some brilliant suggestions from people, from everything to making curries, to risottos, to soup, to omelettes, some really fantastic ideas. So please, if you are stuck for your dinner tonight, don't know what to eat, got some bit of leftover stuff, thinking, oh, what am I going to do with that? Go along and have a look at the thread. I will pull all the ideas together and gradually send them out on my newsletter, which you can get for signing up at zerowasteweek.com. So you will get to find them all eventually, but if you want the quick hit, go along to the Facebook group and have a look and see what all the suggestions were. Kate asked how to store bread. She'd bought a loaf naked from a baker, and she'd put it into an old plastic bread bag, and it started to go mouldy, and she was just questioning, was the bread going to go mouldy anyway, or was the plastic bag carrying spores? So bread's a really interesting one. My husband and I constantly argue about what is the best way to store bread. And ideas came up from to wrap in a tea towel. I have done that with homemade bread. To wrap in tissue paper. That's an interesting one. To use a wooden bread bin, or to use a cloth bag. Lots of people said that they found bread didn't go mouldy, but it dried out. So I would love to know what you do, because it's a question we get asked a lot on how you make. I mean, maybe we're not understanding that bread actually should dry out in 3 or 4 days. I'm sure the artisan bakers will tell you that that's the way it's supposed to be. But I think with our current lifestyle, we just expect things to last and last. And maybe that's just not a realistic expectation. What do you think? Come and tell us on the group. Erica asked what to do with olive stones and nutshells. And it was a really interesting conversation. I just assumed that people would say you could compost them, which indeed they did. But other people used them to burn on open fires. That's a really good idea. I've got an open fire, I'm going to try that. One person used them on potted plants in the garden to deter visiting cats from using her pots as a litter tray. That's a really good suggestion, and I'm imagining it would keep slugs off too, because I don't like kind of rough surfaces. There was something else somebody said as well, which eludes me for now. Can't remember what that was. So you'll have to go and find out, won't you, by having a look on the Facebook group and finding out for yourself. Con asked about washable sanitary towels. So she wants to switch from using disposable products. She said it might be a bit of a gross topic to talk about. It's not gross, Con. Do you know what is gross? Gross is the idea of going to a beach where you've got 17,000 pieces of disposable sanitary towelware washed up on the beach, which is the amount that I think an average woman uses in her lifetime. So let's move on to washables. So Con was asking for how do you wash them, how do you look after them, is it a really horrible thing to have to do? Quite a few suggestions there from the girls. Personally, I use H2O2, which is hydrogen peroxide, just to do a bit of a soak before I just chuck them in with the wash. The reason I use an H2O2 soak is because I'm currently trialling a completely detergent-free wash. I'm using a product called an Eco Egg. Been using it for about 2 months now, so when I get asked to review items, I really review them, use them for kind of 6 months a year to check that they don't fall apart and to see how effective they are, rather than just that, oh, this is really great after the first use. I think it's about longevity. So that's what I do. Other ladies gave their suggestions. If you're thinking of making the switch, then go along and have a read and get the advice that you need on that one. Thanks for that, Con. Really good topic. And we've been on the search for plastic-free tea. Now, I only learned this last year or the year before during Zero Waste Week. I think it was Lindsay from Treading Lightly first alerted me to the idea that if you compost tea bags, you'll find that in a few years' time you've actually still got the bags left, and they've got the mesh bags aren't cotton or paper as they kind of look. They've actually got a layer of plastic inside them, so they don't rot down. So we've been on the search for plastic-free tea, and so these regular tea bags, they don't biodegrade. I think a couple of people had found brands that used plastic-free tea bags. I can't remember who they were. Could have been Piccadilly's of London, somebody like that. Other people suggested buying loose, but it's a bit of a faff, isn't it? I'm going to say that. I'll probably get shot down in flames by you guys. So what was it people said in the end? I can't remember. There were definitely 2 or 3 brands mentioned. There was the idea of buying loose, and people suggested where you could buy loose tea from, but sometimes loose tea catches you out as well, because you open up the box and inside is a plastic bag with the tea in. So if you're looking for a plastic-free cuppa, because I think us Brits tend to drink about 10 cups a day each, if the media is to be believed, then go along and have a read of that. The other thing you can do, of course, if you're not after builder's tea, is to grow some herbs and then dry them and make your own herbal tea. That's great. I love doing that. So that's it for my little roundup this week. It's been a really busy week on the group, actually. I've just had to select a few posts at random because there's so much going on. We've got loads of new members, hoping to get 4,000 members by September the 5th. So do come along and join us. Facebook.com cut groups, cut Zero Waste Week Heroes. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week.